and welcome back to the On Respect and another edition of AEW Dynamite Out. And it's a big show today. It's a beach break special with a massive main event. MJF putting his world title on the line against Kenny Omega. We also got Takeshita one-on-one with Carl Fletcher for the International Championship. So yeah, there is a lot going on. But we started the show with Jericho versus Ciampa, and the Psycho Killer tried to sneak attack Jericho during his entrance, but the veterans slipped through the crowd, came up behind Ciampa. The two brawled on the beach scene stage before the official match. Even once they got to the ring, they fought physically, culminating right before a commercial break in a fairy tale ending on the steel sets that broke open Jericho. Back from the break, Ciampa hit a diving air raid crash for a near fall. Jericho struggled to battle back, but he caught the Psycho Killer with a code breaker when Ciampa tried to use a Stanfield bucket. The Psycho Killer then blasted Jericho with a pair of running knee smashes for a dramatic near fall, but when he went near another, YTJ turned it into the walls. After distracting the ref by grabbing the bucket, Ciampa threw sand into Jericho's eyes to set up a running knee for the win. Afterwards, the Psycho Killer blasted Jericho with a steel chair and threatened to use a drill, but security convinced him to leave. Ciampa v Jericho was a strong feud built for Beach Break, which was overshadowed by the massive AEW matches announced last week to fill out this card. Still, these two did the work to sell this matchup. Ciampa kept the physical and brutal edge that made him such an easy fit in AEW. To his own credit, YTJ had a consistent performance here. He cannot keep the top athletes anymore, but he still can compete at a very high level. This will not be the end of the story, and it looks like we'll get Jericho v Ricochet again. While YTJ is not a star that should lose easy in AEW, this should end up elevating Ciampa, not pushing into the back of the line. It was nice to see him win tonight, but what matters now is how it likely ends, like probably at Redemption. So I'll give it a 6 out of 10. We then got Takeshita versus Carl Fletcher for the International Championship, and they tested each other early. They both hit hard, but Fletcher found his opening to take control with a strong attack on the right elbow. The Alpha dived desperately on the Proto Star on the floor going into the break. Takeshita fired back and after the break with a hit driver and wheelbarrow suplex on the apron. The two fired off their strongest offense, hitting their best offense until Takeshita connected with the Raging Fire. Fletcher got his foot on the ropes after a slow cover. The Proto Star caught Fletcher with a sheer drop brainbuster, but only for 2. However, the damage was done, allowing Fletcher to win what was definitely with a corner brainbuster. After a break, Mick Foley arrived to interview Fletcher when a protestar denied his friendship with Takeshita. Kevin Knight arrived to mock Fletcher for taking so long to get gold again before Andrade arrived to make clear he was also coming for the gold. The family ran after Andrade only to get ambushed by him and Darby with the help of an exploding skateboard. If it was never a question of Takeshita v Fletcher was going to be good, we always knew it would be. The answer was emphatically great. These two work a similar style that leads to an epic encounters, and it felt like both had given it their all from the start to finish. What's surprising is the Alpha to lose the title so soon. It makes sense when factoring in Takeshi's upcoming G1 climax though. Fletcher adds more gold to his name, and he's got quite the resume for a young star. Takeshi should come back for his gold around the time of All In, less likely setting up a triple threat with Okada. The post-match interview felt like an awkward fit for Foley, but it'd be nice to see him leading working those oppositions to Don Callis in the future. Andrade is already fitting well for a babyface, but this feels like it was running long by the time the family started chasing him. So yeah, kind of a bit mixed. I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. I thought it was really great for the match. Maybe the promo just brought it down for a little bit. Will Ospreay and Mox then came out in the obvious favourite against the Workhorsemen, and the Workhorsemen took advantage of their lack of tag cohesion to take control of the action heading into the break. Back from the break, the aerial assassin fought to the corner and got the hot tag with some extra encouragement, which Shafir Mox took over. Ospreay laid out Drake with an impressive stars clash while Mox hit Henry with a pile driver. They followed with a Death Rider hidden blade combo on Drake to win. While it's always nice to see Henry and Drake in the ring, they had almost no credibility on AEW TV, so this was never even a question, much like Mox and Ospreay's match with the Swell. The goal to these matches is to show what they can do together against tag teams with far more chemistry. The crowd had fun, 2 good wrestlers with a greyish spotlight. There's nothing much to complain about beyond this going a bit longer than it should have. If AEW keeps pace steadily enough, Mox and Ospreay could definitely become an exciting tag team. They may even challenge for the gold. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. We then got a Casino Gauntlet for a Women's World Championship match with the contestants in order: Athena, Maya Wild, Sky Blue, Shirakawa, Rina, Julia Hart, Thunder Rosa and Willow. This started as a normal gauntlet battle past the commercial break, but the action turned with the arrival of Hart. The Sisters of Sin began to impose their will, knocking around security and using chairs, kendo sticks and trash cans to beat everyone down. The battle raged on inside and no-face to Rosa, who almost sealed the win for Athena. Widow's arrival was a big surprise for everyone. That's where she ran over everyone, especially after the Fallen Goddess. After Maya helped take out Blue, Widow sealed the victory of Base with a powerbomb on Hart. Afterwards, Sekla caught Widow with a spear. The Divine Dominion laid out a Sisters of Sin to set up Mercedes Moné to lay out both Thekla and Riel. Often these matches are worked in fast action style. The women's took a different approach, leaning into hardcore edge that comes with no DQ. They allowed the sisters to dominate the action and set the stage for the return of Willow, who was clearly wanting winning from the moment she stepped in. She looked unstoppable, running through the rest of the field to deliver a pretty emphatic victory and setting herself up for a match with Thekla, which could have been the original plan for All In before Willow's injury took her out of the Owen. While she may not forget Thekla's rivalry with Stardom in the future, Willow is the biggest name that she could be challenging the Toxic Spider right now. She has plenty of history with CEO, setting her up for a possible match with Thekla at Redemption before moving on to that. Monet working with Bane and Lena Cross is also interesting, but it will be intriguing to see in the coming weeks how strong that trio is. It's also a shame the match didn't do a bit with them more with the other competitors involved, but at least Athena looked like a real threat, and hopefully she'll remain on AEW TV. I'll give it 7 out of 10. It was then world title time, MJF versus Omega, and a cleaner tease immediately going for the one-winged angel, but he poked him in the eye and floked both men off over the ropes. The two battled into the crowd, then eventually the stage, teasing V-Trigger and Heat Seekers along the way. Omega turned the tide after kicking MJF off the apron through the announce table. The Salt of the Earth responded with a brutal tombstone pile driver on a standing steel chair. Omega stopped the Heat Seeker attempt while MJF avoided another V-Trigger and one-winged angel. The two fought in the corner where MJF reversed a one-winged angel into a second rope poison Rana, followed by Heat Seeker for a shock last second kick out. Ospreay arrived to take away the Dynamite Diamond Ring, but when Omega hesitated to hit MJF with the world title, MJF low-blowed him and blasted him with the gold. Omega managed to kick out instantly and hit a trio of V-Triggers, followed by the one-winged angel to win. While this was the most hyped match between these two at Does Dynasty, these two have been better match on TV, benefited from a tighter pace. They got good time and made the most of it, sprinting through memorable spots that also highlighted the unbelievable athleticism of Omega even at this age. It helped the match quickly move into overtime, making clear any next move, especially after the final, could finish the contest. Even with the heavy heat, leaving both men exhausted down the stretch, they delivered an excellent TV match that sold why Omega needed this last run as champion. The final sequence was especially classic for the cleaner, giving him an emphatic fighting spirit knockout in his best defence to seal a hard-fought victory. Omega v Ospreay is almost certainly main event for All, and it should be interesting to see how AEW builds it. These two have played friendly for a long time, but Omega's unlikely to be the fan favourite at Wembley, which kind of makes me think it could have been better with MJF. And then you got that clear heel v face dynamic. But I don't know, this was a really fun match. I'm going to give them time to see where they take it, because there's no doubt about it that this was absolutely fantastic. So overall I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10, and in total for the show, AEW Dynamite gets an 8 out of 10 from me. It's hard to cobble over AEW basically delivering a pay-per-view on free TV, which is what it felt like. It felt tightly paced with two of the best matches AEW can deliver right now, Takeshita v Fletcher and MJF v Omega. The show also sold anything can happen on the road to All In with a pair of championships changing hands. Tommaso Ciampa v Jericho and the women's gauntlet were also strong and solidly somewhat overlong with the tag match. The main issue was the in-ring actions past any non-wrestling content. AEW may have made a mistake by cutting away from these matches so soon. One more match instead of the frequent backstage interviews with Don Callis would have sealed an all-time great show for AEW. Instead, it was still a very, very strong show. That's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.